All right, so let me begin here first. Uh, Ma'am, I'll just share your um, presentation and then maybe we'll start out with that. I think so. I need to share the screen first on the screen and then so that it's easy for. Yes, are you able to see the screen, ma'am?
Yes, very much, very much.
Okay, all right. So,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, I just made little so that it's
Yeah.
going to go for people, and then let me open it up in the full screen and then start up. Okay, so all right, everybody, welcome and a very good evening to all. I am Professor Samuel Johnson from the VIT-AP School of Business, and it's a great honor today. As you can see on the screen, I have with me Dr. Reena Das, and Dr. Reena Das is the General Manager of Human Resource and Industrial Relations at Bhadra International Private Limited in India. And I'm sure for those of you who are frequent flyers, or Bhadra is the biggest Indian airport on-ground services. If I'm not wrong, the word what I've used.
It's called ground handling services.
Ground handling services in
Yeah.
India, spread over, and yes, she is taking care of the entire pan India, and more to tell about Dr. Reena Das. I would like to quickly share her profile. Wonderful lady. I know Dr. Reena for a couple of almost, I don't know, 10,
15 years.
15 years. All right.
Yes.
So, and that's a big thing. And knowing someone who is a passionate person who really works, I'll just quickly, what I'll do is I'll share on the screen for the benefit of listeners. That's ma'am's LinkedIn profile. All right. So I just want to start from entire. Okay, did her bachelor's in zoology. It's very interesting, huh? You have to see her profile. Okay, BSc in zoology from Berampur, and then law. All right, human rights. You have to be very careful. Okay, did bachelor's in law, and then MBA. All right, and she was also conferred her PhD. All right, and then yeah, she also worked in academics. She taught at colleges, you can see here, and she was also the director there. And I know ma'am from then at Gandhi Group of Institutions, and then for the last big time of 10 years almost with Randstad. And after which being with Randstad, and the two very big positions, all right. Priorly it was called as Mafoy, consulting, and then later on she became the national manager. Randstad, I'm sure the people know in the HR industry, the world's biggest HR company, recruitment and consulting, Randstad. And then she went on to become the general manager of operations at TVS Training and Services, you can see here. And so you see the wide variety of experience. And for the last almost 4.8, almost 5 years, now she's with Bhadra and as a general manager. So you see from a zoology background to law to MBA, then to academics, then to big corporates. And it's such a joy to have ma'am here. And in this small talk, we just stop sharing, and then yes. So in this talk, the prime objective is to listen from these kind of people who have grown to the peaks in life, so work dedicated. I had the pleasure of doing a couple of training programs for the employees, and I know ma'am right from my after my MBA, as soon as we finished MBA, right from my internship stage, from a small work, how meticulously she works, from morning she sits, that's all. Excel life and Excel. And even after I came back after from Mafoy, lot of traveling, we used to meet, I don't know, Delhi airport, Chennai airport,
Yeah.
we used to like bump into each other. And it's a great thing being a woman, taking up top roles, managing work life. So when I thought, why don't I interview people, and I made a list of people who have really worked hard and who is really working hard. And she always has an amazing team. Wherever she works, she has an amazing team, right? I know now she here in the Chennai, the team of HR is there's nothing on 9 to 5 for them. Who hates me, and that in and working in an international, supporting international airlines where it's everything is in, mostly in the night, the arrivals, the departures. Oh God, it's like amazing. But how does she keep it so pepper? Okay, so let's start. And Reena Daji, namaste, vanakkam, right?
Vanakkam.
And the best thing is, ma'am is from Orissa, okay, but she can speak Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, English, Odia. All right, she is a rock star in languages, and that's a core thing as an HR. Yeah. So, ma'am, you are the general manager of Bhadra, and first question I have, right? Uh, HR, human resource, right? Human relations, human remains, right? There are three things I'm giving you: human resource, human relations, human remains. Out of three, which is the most important to be at the role in an aviation industry which is predominantly dominated by men? I've seen your entire team, top notch, and you being a woman there. What is that out of three? Where do you keep the first one? What is so important?
Human relations, of course. Relations is the key where you get in touch with your human resources and keep them alive so that there is no human remains.
Okay, so ma'am, can you just tell me what keeps you so pepped up? What keeps you so charging, working, and building new? I know in Mafa you build new teams. Randstad you made a couple of big projects. Right here also, I'm sure you're managing right from Coimbatore Airport, Chennai, Trivandrum, Calicut, Calcutta. Did I miss anything?
Bangalore.
Bangalore, all right. So not easy,
Mang-
huge. Yeah, Mangalore.
Bangalore.
Yeah. So what keeps you so pepped up, charged up, working, and yeah.
What I feel is nobody is going to push you to do certain work. It is you yourself have to choose that. Yes, if I have taken up a job,
Mm.
I like the job, I love the job, and I'll have to push myself to achieve what I have to achieve.
Okay,
So that is where I keep pushing myself to the maximum extent so that I can drive the team to achieve the organizational goal, and of course the team goals have been met by meeting the organizational goals.
wonderful. And how do you manage your, work-life integration? There's a lot of traveling, long hours, right? How do you, really keep up your? What's a small message? Because now many women are working, but what message you want to give them?
Well, travel is somebody has to love traveling.
Mm.
That's very important. Whatever you do, if you do not like doing it, then you probably might not enjoy it.
Hmm.
And somebody who should also like taking up challenges. In the HR role, when we were doing HR in Randstad, it was a business role. It was
Okay.
not a support function. It was a forefront. HR was in the forefront where we used to go and sell the HR services. So when we
Mm.
sell HR services, it is required that you have to go to different organization and present what is the need for them and understand their requirement and design customized solutions for them. So at
Mm.
that point of time, if you do not want to travel, then it would not work. So I'll tell you a very personal story. Uh, I uh, I joined MAFO in 2004,
Mhm.
and 2005 I was expecting, because after marriage I joined the company, and I was expecting my child, and I took a break, maternity leave like any other lady takes. Once I came back, to my fortune, I got a promotion, and
Oh.
it was it was a promotion where earlier I was a business development consultant and a senior business development consultant. As a business development consultant, you need to travel. There is no other option. So there are certain choices that you make in life. Those could be like the tough choices, and in that tough choice, I had to make a choice where I had to leave my child back home in Odisha,
Oh
because
God.
I did not want to compromise on the work
Mm.
in terms of the scope of work that I was getting, and definitely I loved the thing. So here, what I wanted to drive here is, if somebody wants to take up a challenge in terms of, yes, I want to do my work, whether you are coming back from your maternity or you are continuing your own job, but if you feel that yes, this is a challenge that you have taken and you want to do it the best, then there is no second thoughts. There are a lot of trade-offs that you have to do personally in your life, but if you want to give a weightage more to your professional career, that yes, I want to do it and I definitely want to achieve it in a very nice way, then the trade-offs you have to personally compromise and sacrifice. So once a sacrifice that I had to do, which was my choice, that I had to leave my son who was 3 months old back home in Odisha, and then I brought him back when he was 7. And during these 7 years that I had with Randstad, I never looked back. In terms of like, I came back, got a promotion as a senior business development consultant, and then if you see my profile, I became the manager, then senior manager, national manager. Step by step, I grew up in the organization, and all this was possible because I was not letting any opportunity come on my way lose that. If
Yeah,
a opportunity has come on my way, it has come on a golden platform. You cannot opt to lose it.
true.
If you lose it, then it becomes like you have lost it. Many of the interviews that I do today,
Mm,
I interview a lot of girls, and we have a lot of customer service agents, those who come and those who like to work in aviation because of the industries
mm,
thing. So what happens is, people come and say that, how, I ask them, how long would you like to work? Said,
mm,
ma'am, maybe another, I am 18 now, I would work till 24. And
mm.
then what? Then I'll get married. I really say them. That's where I pick up uh, a most
Yeah.
counselor, not an interviewer. I become a counselor and tell them, see, if you are investing so much from your age of 18 to 24, and then what is the reason that you would like to step back and stay at home just because you're getting married?
Mm,
So don't make a choice that only because the marriage makes a person sit back at home and not pursue it. If you really want to pursue something and make a name for yourself, make sure that you invest on your work and ensure that you keep learning. One
sure.
thing that will make you grow up in the organization is you keep learning. And
Mm,
once you keep learning, learn different techniques, learn different things, then there is a scope that you always grow up in the organization. And if you're growing up, travel, there is no choice. If you're there in a business line and you are a frontliner, you have to travel. And I used to have situations where I used to meet my husband in the airport.
oh God.
I used to travel 15, 20 days, and he was also into sales and marketing. So we were traveling so much that every time our suitcases would be packed,
Mm,
and I would be traveling most of the time, and we used to meet in the airport. So that used to be the situations that we had. So traveling is something has been my passion. So I didn't find it tiring. I always found it interesting because every place that I have gone, I've learned something. Even the soil of each place is different, and I'm sure you will agree the way you also keep traveling to different places.
yeah, yeah. That's an amazing thing. And audience, when you're listening this, or students or employees, anybody, such an inspiration to see, how that keeping the ground, keeping that passion and taking that career choice to continue. There's nothing that anybody can't achieve, and that's amazing thing, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I have a question. Like, you might have seen so many people in your career, and now that you're working with top international airlines, also you serve. For example, say you serve Lufthansa, serve Qatar, Emirates. These are from
No,
different.
not Emirates, not yet, but
Okay, so
Lufthansa,
international airlines,
Cathay,
Cathay
Cat,
Pacific,
yes, yes, Qatar,
Lufthansa, Qatar, Sri Lankan Airways.
Sri Lankan,
Okay, so could you
Gulf, lot of them.
good. So could you tell us a little bit about the organizational culture of these? See, one is German, right? One is from Sri Lanka. One is from Middle East. Working with the management of the top people. What is this work-life culture? When is it the same, or do you have to understand different people because you're in a very global company? And how does it work as an employee?
We are a customer service, basically a customer service organization. And when we handle this function of ground handling for these
Hmm.
we do end to end of that, the customer service function, the ground handling function per se. We are a
End
one.
to end means right from ticketing till.
Yeah, we are a one-stop shop.
One stop, everything.
Yes, yes. From the moment somebody enters into the airport,
Hmm.
along with the boarding pass, helping them to get a ticket booked, seat booked, to the pushback, to cargo, everything is what we handle. So we have different types of people. Those who are working in an organization where we have a elite crowd, where we have the customer service agents, those who are working for a passenger services team. Then we have the ramp. We have skilled and unskilled people working in the ramp, where we have also highly skilled people. Those are in the
Yeah.
ramp, those who do the pushback job, those who do the load control job and stuff. And then we also have people from the cargo, those who
Yeah.
do a lot of palletization, loading, and it's a different science to it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge, but very interesting. Coming to you, the point where how to handle this elite people in terms of the customers,
Hmm.
mostly our customer airline managers. Customer airline managers have a very
Okay.
lean team in the sense they might have the head and few of the support staff for them, but then the lot of their activities have been outsourced to us and we handle end to end of it. So for them, in the aviation industry, their KPIs are very important. So
Mm.
their KPIs becomes our KPI in terms of the on-time performance. When
On
there is
time.
an error, yeah, that's something is very important in the airline, in terms of how you give them an on-time performance where the airline comes and before the airline takes off. Everything is being measured on the time basis. And
Yeah.
as we are handling international airlines, it is like your five-star services. When you go
Wow.
to a five-star hotel, there is an expectation that you will be treated in a certain way,
Yes.
and our people have been trained and have been molded in such a way that they know how to handle. Now we have this COVID-19 situation has happened, where a lot of airlines countries want their people to be taken back. So
Yeah.
we handle such flights also. So these people have been trained in a way that they would handle it. And if you meet the KPIs of, I mean, it's all professional end
Mm.
of the day. And there's hardly a scope of a personal touch here, though in a customer service, personal touch matters. But here, the airline station manager would evaluate us based on the KPI that the station would be measured on. For
Okay.
example, now Qatar Airways, we have been doing the best of the service and it has been rated well. So if the airline station has been rated well, or obviously they would look at us on a very good note.
Yeah.
So the professional matrix is what I want to drive down is matters a lot when we actually deliver. And that's where if we deliver on our professional matrices, then the airline customers would be happy with us. If that is not been managed and been delivered, then things do not go well.
Oh my goodness. And your certain airlines, for example, Lufthansa, they also take your employees and train in their respective country,
Absolutely.
Germany and.
Absolutely. See, each airline has got their own systems and processes.
Mhm.
It looks like everything is an aeroplane and only the
Mm.
tags are different. It is not that. They have all the systems and processes, and they give also priorities to their KPIs. Few people would like, few airlines would like high on customer, very high on customer service, like how you greet, how
Mm.
you ask, even a security. Some give very importance to this safety and security. So they have different parameters in place. So when they have different parameters, which is called as products, each
Mm.
airline has their own product. So
Mm.
each of our teams, those who are handling the dedicated teams that we have, they are handling different airlines. So they need to be trained well enough. Suppose if Lufthansa is an airline and we are handling the Lufthansa product, they need to be well versed with the A to Z of the Lufthansa product. And that's when we send we people, and they nominate our team and we send them. So it is a function which we take, we do it jointly in terms of Bhadra and Lufthansa, where we ensure that our team, those who are on board and those who are handling those passengers of Lufthansa or any other airlines that we are handling, they are well versed with the product and they've been trained uh, by the respective airlines.
All right. And can you just tell us about that one point which you always tell us when we meet, that it all depends on at the end of the day when the, the time, or what is that, OT? Or,
OTP, on time performance.
yeah, on time performance. All right. Why is it so important? On time performance, that flight, if it's 10 a.m., it has to fly off at 10 a.m.
At
Like.
10 a.m. See, what happens is these are all international flights.
Mm.
Passengers also are traveling from one place, one station to another place, another location. They, some of them might have, like, I'm traveling from Chennai, I go to Chicago. There could be a direct flight, but sometime it might not be a direct flight. You might have to do some connecting flights. If we are not serving on an on-time performance here, then the passenger will get strangled, and they might miss out the connecting flight.
Yeah.
So, and it is not in India itself where it's still okay, but then it is overseas and all international flights. So, in aviation, on-time performance is very important, because imagine if you have to go to Baroda
Mm.
and from Chennai to Delhi flight got delayed, you will
Bus.
not be able to catch the Baroda flight. So it's like that.
All right. So, okay. And coming to your work style in your office, like you recruit people, okay?
I
And
do.
after recruiting so many people, how do you manage your learning and development? Like there are different trainings they have to go through, right? Throughout the
Absolutely.
year. Plus, mostly they have to work in the evenings, Plus,
Yeah.
what are the learning development tools you have and processes?
Yes. In terms of once it's a new resource or a new employee is on board, we have our standard induction manual, which is a classroom session.
Hmm.
That is an exhaustive, because anyone coming in, other irrespective of they having some aviation training program undergone, what they come and learn here is totally different.
Okay.
Their hands are fully onto the aviation once they on board with us. So
Hmm.
we have a very exhaustive training program that happens, which is an induction training program. Apart from we making them understand, oriented about the industry, each and
Hmm.
every function has been explained. And then we have a internally post selection. There is also another selection process which happens, wherein airline manager also chooses them.
Okay.
Like you see the check-in staff will again been chosen by the respective airline. That is
Okay.
where the airline specific training programs have been given.
Okay.
And then being in the aviation industry, there are mandatory training programs. Like for example, when we work in the airport, we need to go through the basic AFSEC training, which is a aviation security training program for understanding the different layers of security which exist in the airport. So
Okay.
unless and until we get that, we cannot get our airport entry permit. So
All right.
those are some basic but mandatory training programs, like safety, fire
Hmm.
and safety is something very important.
Yeah.
Then we have the safety management system, which is again important. And then we have emergency response plan, which is again a very important. So these are few mandatory training program which has to be taken up every year. Each and every employee, when they come, they attend the program, and then every year there is a refresher program. We conduct refresher and recurrent training programs for our employees. So that happens in as a classroom training mode, and sometimes it happens on the job training, wherein in something related to the documents check. Documentation is one of the important aspect in the international travel, because
Mm.
your visa, your passport, I mean, there's a lot of things to it. So their documents training can be done in the classroom as well as in the check-in counters. So there are on-the-job trainings that we have also done. Plus, we have people, those are how they're performing on surprise quality checks, safety checks that we conduct based on the observations that we have through a pool of team, those who do this quality and safety checks. We find out if there is any discrepancy, then we call them for a refresher training program. Then we also have a learning management system in place.
Okay.
LMS, yeah, LMS is there in place where we do assessments, pre-assessments, post-assessments,
Good.
and then there are customized modules, which is like standard modules, which is
Okay.
there, which they can do a self-learning, and then come for the, for example, qualify themselves by writing an assessment.
Good.
So there are different modes of things that we keep doing it, and training is important. Without training, it is not possible. And of course, like apart from the technical training, your behavioral skills is also very important, wherein
Yeah.
when we get chance, we call people like you to give them
Hmm.
motivational talk, and that's where we keep them pepped up, so that their learning curve is high, both emotionally and also in terms of the technical capabilities both.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now let's come to the learning from books to the application on ground, handling on ground. So, see, you were into academics, you were the director of business schools and all that before coming into the industry. Um, what is your message to, I'm from a business school, so let's talk about a BBA graduate and an MBA graduate. Okay, these two sectors. Um, what is it you want to give a message, because we learned so many subjects, right? Say organizational behavior, learning and development, training and marketing, HR, strategy, whatnot. Okay, but ma'am, you were in the field for say more than 2 decades, and what is your message to those students who are learning now? Is it so easy that what you read in the books is directly applied, or what is the message? You're a practitioner, and what do you want to tell the students who are going to graduate and come to the workforce soon?
Yeah. Very interesting when you're asking this question. See, what we learn in college is concepts.
Hmm.
That's where our foundation has been laid.
Okay.
If your foundation has been laid very strong in terms of you know the concept, if you, for example, a topic like organizational development, which is very close to my heart, if you know the concepts of OD, making it implied at the workplace becomes little easier for you. If you
Hmm.
do not know the concepts, you will not be able to understand the implication of it, and you will not be able to play a vital or critical role in terms of giving even your thought process or making it thought
Yeah.
converted into an action. For
Hmm.
example, organization development, if we're just taking an example here, is something which is very core to the organization,
Yeah.
where HR plays a very vital role in terms of implementing the organizational development initiatives. So
Yes.
to implement this organizational development initiative, it is not easy,
Hmm.
because HR is always in the backseat, and they feel that whatever initiative has been taken by the HR is just to do a time pass activity which might not show the results immediately. It is an approach where it can give a short term result and also a long term result. So
Okay.
it is very important role which HR has to play in terms of convincing the top management first. The
Yes.
strategy of the OD, it would help in the to the organization in a long term, and also in the short term we can get this benefit.
Yeah.
And apart from doing that, there is a lot of convincing which happens to the stakeholders, those who are playing an important role in the organization. If all of them come aligned to your thought process, then the implementation becomes easy. And as a fresher, when they are joining any company, if they know the concepts well,
Hmm.
the OD concepts or a marketing concept, any of the concepts, if they've studied well in the college, it will help them to play a vital role. Because if I see myself growing in the space of HR, I remember being studying it very well when I was a student, when I also was teaching,
Okay.
and then I started practicing it in person when I was in Randstad. I mean, that Randstad was the organization which gave me MAFO, and Randstad gave me that platform where I learned and started implementing it.
Yeah.
And this implementation I did with different organizations. We were
Amazing.
having customers and we started implementing this. But I always had a thought in my mind that when I am implementing for different organizations, I am not able to see the change that I want to see in terms of, if I'm doing this as an intervention, what is the impact it will bring to the organization in terms of contributing to the bottom line or the top line, and how is it making a change. That change I could not see when I was doing it as a consultant when I
Okay.
was in Randstad. And that was always in my mind that I should take up a role of a core HR, so that if I implement something, I would like to see the return on investment on the implementation of any initiative that we have done. And that's where I picked up this job of core
One.
HR from Bhadra.
So now, if I have to ask you few skill sets, what you would look in when a business school graduate, be it a BBA or be it an MBA, a business school graduate who's coming there, that is one set, or any other person who's coming for your job profiles in the aviation industry, what are the top few technical skills you would look at, and what do you look at from the behavioral skills, so that the student who is now going to listen to you and learn from you on this video, right, these are the things which is more seen from you, when you get their CV or interview, what are the skill sets?
If I have to generalize it, not just aviation, so
Yeah.
travel, tourism, and hospitality. I mean, these are all the similar industries that
Yes.
we are in. So, if I have to generalize it, we are in the customer service space.
Yes.
So, if I see a quality, then a skill set, I would
Hmm.
look for an empathy as a quality.
Empathy.
Empathy. See,
Yes.
skill sets in terms of communication skills and stuff, these are all generic. I mean, today I don't have to tell to the MBA students on what they want, because everything is there in Google. You just click on your employability skills, you know all that. But
Yeah.
people, what they don't have, which I miss out when I talk to people, is their empathy. If
Hmm.
they have the skill of an empathy or a quality of an empathy, that would help them to either become a good customer service agent, or
Mhm.
also become a good HR person? And
Yes.
are they agile? I mean, sometimes I really feel bad when I do not see that agility these days in people, those who come for the interview. Are they agile? Are they having that ability that they can be part of the organization? It is like when they come and say that yes, I want to be here for 2 years. I mean, you might be there for 2 years, but then an interviewer's mind switches off.
Mhm.
As an interviewer, my mind switches off, because why would I invest my time in taking someone who has a very short term objective with the organization? He's
True.
not willing to be there in the organization and grow with the organization. So
Mhm.
these are the things that that's what my top of the mind thoughts as of now in terms of yes, I would look for someone who's agile, who has empathy,
Good.
who can connect with people well and can be a good team player. I mean, unless and until you are in a good team player, you cannot be surviving in any organization that you go.
Good, good. So that's a nice point. What you said, empathy and agile and all. But I want the viewers, wherever you're watching, to understand that this what a general manager at a national level in HR is telling about. Uh, I think there are no subjects in our business school or MBA or anywhere when we study. There's nothing called introduction to empathy. There's nothing called, you know. So these are the things which we have to learn from theory. As you said, concepts are very important, and along with that, in the business school, we have to also package ourselves, right, to learn empathy, to work and all that. And then I'm sure people like you, they can help them grow and all this stuff. So that's a key point, ma'am. Thank you so much. So that's where we see the difference between a theory course and when it comes to a real time application course. All right. So before we conclude, a quick tips, especially for you said about on the career growth. Okay, nowadays I see people as soon as they finish their PG or the masters or the undergrad, they want to have this AC office, which is AC is going 360-degree and chair is rotating 360. All right, uh, what is the message do you want to give to the first level job when people start first career and the career has to grow? What is it they need to keep in mind when they first come?
Let me share my story.
Yes.
Yeah, when I completed my MBA,
Mm.
I studied in Barampur University, and we got a campus interview.
Okay.
And it was a pharmaceutical company called Cipla
Okay.
Pharmaceutical.
Sipla.
And way back that time, yes, I got a job with Cipla, and in Chennai, posting was Chennai.
Mm.
So because it was a small place that I come from, Barampur, and those days doing MBA was very prestigious. I
Yeah.
did in 1994, started and 96 I completed. So it's very prestigious to do MBA that point of time. So after I complete, and then when we got this job, our photos were clicked,
Mm.
placement news was flashed in the newspapers, and everyone started calling home, congratulating that yes, your girl has got this job. Congratulations, we are very proud of her and all. So we were like celebrities that time. But the
Mhm.
moment I went to Sipla, joined the company, it was a
Oh God.
medical representative job. And my father was a doctor, my sister is a doctor, and imagine I was also struggling to become a doctor when I was did my BSc zoology. That's where I studied BSc zoology, because i I wanted to be a doctor, and so 3 years I tried and didn't work out. And then after that I did my MBA, because I didn't want to get into something which I have got already frustrated. So I thought, let me do MBA. So then when I went there, and then they had this classroom training, which was okay, nice. And then on the job training is go along with our senior, knock
Mm.
the door of a doctor and try and sell the pharma products.
Oh God.
Day one, okay. Day two, I started asking myself, what am I doing to myself? Is this what I wanted to study MBA for? So I was getting frustrated myself, and then I told my boss, I said, this is not my cup of tea. I'm
Mm.
not made for this, and I cannot do this. So you'll have to excuse me, and I'll have to go back home. I'm sorry that I took up this offer, but I realized at the first month itself that this is not something which I'm made for. And then I told my parents back home and said that I'm coming back home. So once I came back home, and then there was nothing to do, because Varampur is a small place.
Yeah.
You won't have options much to do. And I lost, and that job that point of time was giving a good salary package, and all, and my medical reps were well paid.
Yeah.
But I did not see a future for myself there.
Okay.
So I came back. So what I want to drive here is, don't take up a job after you complete an MBA just because you have got a job.
Mm.
Try and see something which you like to do it. It's very important. Then when I went and joined the College of Business Administration, that is a startup, and I started teaching to them, talking to the students, and doing things. So I slowly understood that my interest levels are in teaching, administration, and these are my core competences which I have got. I should develop in those lines. I
Mm.
can be a frontliner, but not as a frontliner as a sales medical rep, but then in a different way, where I
Yeah.
also spoke to colleges, I mean, companies where I could get placements and all. So it was a different line of being frontliner, but try and understand. Don't take much time to understand what is good, what is bad for you.
Mm.
If you are able to make the choice for yourself at the beginning of your career, then it will help you shape up your career better. I'm
Yeah.
sure whatever uh, job that you're doing now, you would have liked that doing
Oh,
it
yes.
only then. So unless you like doing certain things, it will not take you where you want to be. You will become a failure. So try and understand what you like and what you can contribute best, and that's where you can lead to your dreams and lead to your passions.
Wonderful. So you've seen us doing training. You have seen me from past 15 years of transition. What's your take on how do we do what we do in about the training and
Yeah,
method?
I think what I like about you is you innovate yourself every time.
Sorry.
You innovate yourself every time.
Okay.
That's what I like, or I have observed it, whether it is on the content development that I've seen you working with Sutapa, or it's say your Vellore University days, VIT days in Vellore.
Yeah.
I mean, I have observed you every time that I've met. You have always surprised me with a new skill or a knowledge that you've added to your basket, and probably that is the reason what you were Sam FS MBA intern
Yeah.
15 years back is Professor Sam now, Dr. Samuel Johnson. I think that's something very amazing, and that's also equally important for each one of us,
Yeah.
because each one of us, if we start identifying what are our strengths and what we can work on it better, that is where we can actually develop ourselves and can excel in our career. And
Wonderful.
that is something, is a self-assessment. No one is going to tell you because
Yeah.
you are good at this. I mean, if you are good at content, you have good at doing research. I mean, you pursued it in a nice manner so that you could do it. And I'm sure working with Mafo those days, you could have got an opportunity to work in corporates also,
The
because Mafo is
foundation.
a brand. Yeah, but then you chose to live your dreams in terms of being part of the institution, which
Yeah.
is equally good. And then you have developed yourself. Being an institution is not like a 9 to 5, it is also 24 by 7, is what I can see observing you, the way you have evolved yourself as a person. I think that's thing of reinventing yourself at every time, challenging yourself and learning new things is something very important for each one of us. And I see a live example in you, Sam.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so it's such a great joy and honor. And all the viewers, wherever you're seeing from this video, I want to thank Dr. Reena Das here. And I'm sure when ma'am is the live example here, from all that what she did from the past till now, I'm sure you people can take up this small lessons. It's a great lessons in a small session, and you people can do the best of what ma'am has told, all the inputs. And then I'm sure, ma'am, people would love to interact with you. I'll also share your LinkedIn profile to the students or anyone. And thank you so much for the time taken during your time. And I hope we'll have a lot of learning associations with you. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's a pleasure always. Thank you very much for having me on your interview,
Thank you.
Japan.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank
So
you.
we want to thank on behalf of VIT University, right from Vellore, Chennai, Amravati, Bhopal, all of us. Now you've been to Chennai campus, I'm sure. And
Chennai, Vellore also I've been.
yes,
We
and
have
now
done some training programs there.
yes, we'll also invite you soon to our Andhra Pradesh campus also, right? And then we'd love to have your sessions there also. Now, thank you so much.
All
Right.
the best, Sam. All the
Have a good
best.
day. Be safe. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.